This is Total Financial Makeover with Debo Adejana, your financial jailbreaker and escape crusader.
Welcome to Total Financial Makeover with Debo Adejana, and on this episode, I'm going to be conducting an interview with someone that I met not too long ago, and her story fascinates me. So I'm one for research, I'm one for gathering knowledge and ensuring that we can store historical information that will be very useful as we go on, especially in our investment journey. And that is the kind of story that I brought to you today with the person I'll be interviewing. Now, we'll be talking about Ikeja, how Ikeja evolved and all of that, and the areas that we now know. Now, this is 2021, December, so that we can put it in context, because I wouldn't know when you'll be watching this, okay? And so you'll be considering what Ikeja looks like now. We'll be sharing what Ikeja used to look like, how much prices were properties were going for and stuff like that, and how, Ikeja transitioned from what it used to be to what it is now, so that you can probably borrow yourself some brain. You understand what I mean? Okay, so you're welcome. You know me, I remain your financial coach, and we will go right in to the interview after this break.
Welcome to Total Financial Makeover with Debo Adejana.
So I have with me on set Sarah Osade. How are you?
Fine.
Sarah, by the way, is the CEO of Ridgeway Realtors, an award-winning realtor, real estate entrepreneur. So I believe that after today's episode, after we finish recording, she will lay hands on me, so I can catch the award-winning anointing and go out there and make things happen. Welcome. Nice having you on set.
Same here.
Nice having you. So, I met this young lady. I met this young lady not too long ago, and her story fascinates me, and that's why I just decided that we need to get your story, because I'm one for documenting, like I said earlier in the introduction, documenting things that will be very useful, especially as we go along in our investment journey. So Sarah, welcome once again.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so you grew up in Ikeja.
Yes.
When we met, you told me you grew up in Ikeja.
Yes, in the heart of Ikeja.
In the heart wow. In the very heart of Ikeja. And where is that? Where is the heart of Ikeja?
Off Bank Anthony Way.
Off Bank Anthony, Mobolaji Bank Anthony Way. That's really the heart of Ikeja. So tell me, growing up, yes, now, I don't know how we would survive not revealing your age in this interview.
Ladies don't tell their age.
Exactly. So I don't know how we will survive not revealing our young age in this interview, but we would manage somehow. But tell me, like, about, when are we talking about? 60s, 50s,
yes,
70s?
70s, definitely. 70s, growing up there.
Wow.
It's like moving in circles.
Okay.
From what is known as the Ikeja, where the bridge, the computer village exists.
Okay, yes.
Then moving from that angle
where lawsuit is, general hospital.
Good. Yeah. From that, and then moving to Okpebi axis, what is now known as Okpebi.
Wow.
Then moving to Bank Anthony Way, what we now, what we see now. So it's been like a journey round that circle.
Wow, you really said it. So tell me, your first experience of Ikeja, what was Ikeja like? So that is from the under the bridge area. That's the first.
That's the first in
that area. Is that what they call medical road? Medical road.
So what we have then was basically just few government houses on that line where you have the bridge now. Just settlement, few government houses there.
Really?
Yes.
The post office wasn't there?
Well, no, not really.
Not yet.
Those areas were like, they were all bushes in between. So just little settlements we have in that axis.
In the 70s.
Yes. Then one thing that stood out then was, if you permit me to say this here, is the Fela Shrine. Fela Shrine was majorly the only in that computer axis. Okay. That's the only street that you will find maybe like 2 or 3 little small houses.
Really?
Yes.
That was when Kalakuta was destroyed, demolished, and then he moved to
Ikeja area. So that axis was just the only. Then after that, I can't remember the name of that street now, but the computer village
around Unity kind of.
The computer village has taken over.
Yes, all of those areas.
Yes.
Okay.
Then from that bridge, the computer village going further, as if you're going to the present tower.
Okay.
Aluminium.
Okay, tower aluminium. Okay.
All those areas.
We are going to Agege or going to.
No. We don't even have. We just have bushes in that. It's a footpath.
Those were not footpaths.
It was just a footpath.
So this Agege Abeokuta Express Road.
Those ones were there.
Okay.
Because you had to take it from that angle to come in.
Wow.
So what we did then, if we were going towards, for instance, we are going to where will I say we're going to now? Because most of those places now they have a name for it.
Yes.
We didn't have any. We just walk on the bush path, cross the slight rivers that are there to get to the next
rivers in Ikeja.
Yes, of course. We had lots of rivers.
Okay.
You won't even believe I swim in some of those rivers there.
Yes. Wow.
Now what will shock you is that the present place where we have the Allen roundabout.
Yes. Popular
Allen, just water.
Water.
Yes, that zone was just water. Where would nothing like those areas. Those ones were just bush.
Whoa!
So it was the what's this hotel that is heart of Lagos?
Lagos Inn.
Yes, that Lagos Inn.
Yeah, around Toyin.
No.
Which one?
At the one at roundabout.
Lagos Airport Hotel.
Airport Hotel. Exactly.
Yeah, Airport Hotel. Yeah.
So that Lagos Airport Hotel was the only structure that you will get.
Whoa!
Sitting there. They started really small before they started expanding and building those
areas. Wow.
So those were the only thing. Then after them, you just move a little further and then water.
So you mean Balogun and all of those things were not in existence?
So that is how it just kept evolving. And
can you imagine?
Evolving. Like I remember I told you, I said those memories when I recount them, it's quite painful because yes, because we saw these things. My father, my mom, and other one, we saw the evolution
of Ikeja. You were part of it. You were in it. Really.
Yes, we saw it. But the thing is that we just kept believing that no, these areas are bush, nothing will happen.
Hey, yeah.
So right now I should be managing massive estates
in Ikeja.
So
tell me, so your parents never took advantage of anything in Ikeja?
No, except from the one we have, we're managing now off Bank Anthony with. That was the only thing he could just secure, and it took lots of pressure for him to just put something down.
Wow.
He just didn't understand it because he felt I won't blame him because I found out that most of them in that generation still felt that these areas were not developed.
So so people like you living in Ikeja then, where would you have been aspiring to live other than Ikeja? Is this Sule? Or maybe to be on the island, or what was
maybe Yaba axis there because because those ones
had gone ahead.
Yes, they are all developed. So most of the factories were on this side.
Whoa! So these were factory areas.
Yes.
So people live in Yaba,
then commute down. So they would do those bush trek from that axis and come this way.
Wow!
You understand? Wow. So what brought about massive development is the foreigners who came in.
Okay, how did they come in? Because that's what I wanted to get to. So how did Ikeja then become what it became? Because I feel that the airport should have played a role. Yeah. And I think the airport came around the 70s, right?
Yeah.
The airport should have played a role. Can you remember the airport coming and did it have any immediate impact? Or when you say foreigners, what brought the foreigners? The GRA probably played a role.
Yes,
what was the GRA? Exactly. So what are those things that really then informed Ikeja and started causing Ikeja to transition as fast as it did and up to what it is now?
Let me start with the airport, for instance.
Okay.
The airport, remember the rule was that you shouldn't have any buildings or structures close to the airport like what we have now.
Yes.
It wasn't like that during the 70s. So it was all bush. So you could see for miles, nothing was around the airport.
Wow.
But unlike what we have now, houses people are building. Yeah. So then, in this axis, we only have this Jesu of Oyigbo.
Okay, yeah.
He was the only one in that
John of that area.
He was just here. He was the only one. Before him, we had all bushes.
Okay.
Forest, as in thick forest.
So our office is in Maryland. So when you see her turn this way and all, she's just trying to get her geography right. Okay.
So you know, so we have thick bushes then, and Jesu Oyigbo was in that axis then.
Okay.
He was into I think he had some factories.
Okay.
Some production. That's why he is going on. That's why he was there. And then I remember also they also had Shogule.
Okay.
There's this ballet that is Shogule.
Okay. Shogule. That's the one across the railway.
So he owned this entire axis then.
Whoa.
Because
when you say this entire axis, mention because people are not here.
Okay.
So what do you mean by this entire axis?
Like now this Bankantoni way that you're looking at.
From the Maryland bus stop?
No, we won't get to Maryland bus stop.
Okay.
Like halfway from the traffic light.
From the Onigbongbo.
Onigbagbo axis going down before you have the police
information, the barracks.
Wow. He owned those days because then they had kola nut plantation.
Yeah.
They had lots of kola nut plantation, if I'm not mistaken. I think kola nut cocoa were what were produced in that area. In fact,
I heard, because I earlier interviewed one man. It is not a video. Is in our blog. Okay. It's on our blog. Who also was part of the early settlers in Ikeja, and he told me the story of the Onigbagbos, that they were actually moved from Abeokuta.
Okay. Yeah.
When there was crisis in the Christian community versus maybe the pagan or Muslim, I've forgotten. They moved them in, and that this place was like a settlement, and they were not going to stay because it was a bush.
Yes.
That they were the one that made this place happen.
Yes.
But it was not a good place to stay at the time.
No. He only came.
Wow.
Baba only came to farm.
Really? This was a farm.
This was just a farm settlement.
Go back to
where he's coming from.
Can you imagine?
So I remember then my dad was saying that he had lots of quarrels with the wife had a lot of quarrels with him. He's like, how on earth would you go and farm here? The distance was just not making sense.
Can you imagine?
But Baba insisted that was where he
wants to farm.
You know? So it was quite of course. It was my father that was giving me all those stories then, because I was pretty young. And then I remember again on this side of the GRA, where we have Isaac John and the other likes. Those were like where we have the Europeans who came in there. They had few houses in one part, and then you have lots of bushes again before you get to the next settlement again. Wow. So it was really calm. And you find out that those who came in from wherever they were coming to Ikeja axis through the bush path would not go through the gates of the Europeans. They have their own little paths. Bypass. They will now take it to go and walk for the
Europeans. Can you imagine?
That's what we have. It's called GRA.
Yeah, that's the GRA now. So you're saying that for Ikeja, the GRA brought some development.
Yes.
You mentioned what other thing? Really?
Okay, I mentioned the foreigners, right?
Yes, the foreigners.
So now the foreigners actually were the Ghanaians.
Really?
The Ghanaians were
Mr. Benson and they were teaching us. Before Ghana must go.
Before Ghana must go. Yeah. So these guys came in and whatever I can't really remember. It's quite a while now. I can't remember.
You're just a young girl, it's quite a while.
I'm a young girl.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to remember what brought them into Nigeria, but most of them came in and they took over those little what's it called? Structures.
Okay.
Or uncompleted buildings.
Uncompleted buildings. Wow, yes. Ghanaians.
They just started living in it.
Squatters.
Yes, exactly. They created used what's it called?
Cardboards and
anything, nylons, anything they could lay their hands into create and just stay. And that was how they started staying then. That their famous bread. Ghanaian bread.
Yes. They started baking.
And they were so industrious. Those guys were industrious. Wow. And before you knew it, people now started saying life in these areas. Okay, if these people can live in this so-called bush, in quotes,
wow,
then that means we too can live in it.
Wow.
So gradually people started buying acres, hectares, gradually
in
Ikeja.
Oh, why was I not born? I mean, you can imagine. Look, I tell a story that I share always. A friend of mine told me this story about his dad.
Okay.
So my dad also happens to have done his real estate investment in Lagos.
Okay.
I mean, built his house in the 1970s. He bought his land in 1970,
Okay.
1976 thereabout. Now, my friend was telling me, Irekari Estate, the Solo area, is where my dad settled, and that my friend's dad also built it.
Okay.
But my friend was telling me the story of his own dad, that the dad actually had property also, 2 plots or so, around Okpebi. Do you understand? And had in Isolo. And when he was going to decide in Irekari Estate, when he was going to decide where to build and live, he chose Isolo.
Wow.
And sold his plots in Okpebi. Ask me what the reason was.
What was it?
Because there was a stream or a gully, just, where Sheraton is now, the back of Sheraton.
There was nothing. You couldn't
cross to Okpebi.
No, you couldn't. You had to go round
to be able to access Okpebi. Yes. And the man says, where would this thick forest develop? And he sold. Because he couldn't easily access his plot, he sold his plots in Okpebi to build in the Solo.
Mr. Debo, you shouldn't blame
Sarah, comparing those
I
two
know
places
it's
now,
painful.
You want to bring that man up as if you can give him some punches. I'm telling you, I was just joking. You feel like, what?
It's the same thing I feel when I see right under my nose.
Yeah.
The massive development in the same Okpebi you're talking of.
Yeah.
Then it was, is it 1 naira? It was 1 naira per day. That's how we calculate it then for a room. Whoa. So you pay 30 naira for 1 month. But it was big money.
Probably 1 kobo.
1 kobo, something like that. So it was much money then.
Yeah, it
wasn't as if these our fathers didn't have the money. But the lack of foresight.
The lack of foresight, probably knowledge also was a problem for them. I mean, and that's why it pains me till today. Do you know that there are people still reliving that kind of life?
No,
because you take them to places right now to say
that is all they see.
To say, come and invest here. And instead of projecting into the future to see what this place is capable of, they will say, this bush. And this guy saying this bush, he's even struggling to be able to afford it. As in, you're saying, pay maybe 2 million naira for this so-called bush, or 1 million naira, or 500,000, whatever, for this so-called bush. The guy is struggling to see how he can afford it. Yeah. But on inspection, he will open his mouth and say, this bush, there is no place that is too far.
No far.
The only right you have to say a place is far is if you can afford better.
Yeah.
If you can afford more. If that's all you can afford in real estate.
Please key down.
Lock it down.
Lock it down.
You can imagine if somebody owns 1, 2, 3, 4 plots in Ikeja as at that time. Like, we're talking of 70s. Even, I mean, how many years ago? That's like 50 something years ago. If you were like a young chap then, maybe about marriageable age 30, you'll just be about 60 something now. And life will be good, my brother. I mean, wow.
But I still give glory to Jehovah that my own father still made his mistakes, yes, but he corrected it well in time. Okay. That's why we have the structures and the estate we have right here in Bank Antonio.
Okay.
But the thing is that it saddens me when I see our generations, or those younger ones. I won't say my generation, but at least those younger ones coming up, and we're trying to tell them, see, these are the mistakes that have been made. Don't rewrite history this way.
To that advice.
Try and do better. Try and do better.
Don't go through our own experience.
Try and rewrite history.
Rewrite history. Don't repeat it. Wow.
But they don't seem to get it. They just see water and bush, and in fact, it's far away from all manner of the body. Ikeja never did have immediate development, but it was space of time. People brought development to the Ikeja axis.
Yes, I still remember. You know what? Growing up around the very early 80s, I think, very early 80s or late 70s probably, we stayed around K2. K2 is not too far from Maryland area. Okay. And I had an opportunity to accompany maybe an uncle. The guy was an uncle of mine from where we stayed to this Mobolaji Bank Anthony. All the impression upon my young mind that I say carry today is just a place with so much broad road. Yes. And light, well lit. Yes. It was because we came late in the evening, early evening, and then late evening was when we were leaving. It was like this. Well lit and broad road like this. That was all I could. But very peaceful, very calm, very serene. No, Ikeja was that. I think we journeyed from that Maryland bus stop up to around or a little after where Sheraton is now. You know, Sheraton I think was also there then. I'm not sure. You know, we journeyed that way, and that was the impression I still kept it today of Ikeja. And you can imagine. So what I tell people is this, and this is what I need you to take note of. If you're taken to a place or you're exploring a place, the things you need to look out for are what are the things that would inform growth in this place. Yeah. Once you can identify a few things, if that is the place you can afford, please buy it. And like I said, if really you can't even identify anything, but that is all you can afford, please buy it. Buy it. I don't need to procrastinate. I'm telling you, because you'll be doing yourself a lot of favor. Years to come, you'll be coming back to say thank you. Yeah. Thank you so much, Sarah. It's been very interesting capturing this. I mean, bush parts in Kenya, street. Island roundabout. Not only that, we'll swim. Island roundabout water. When YMC says Island Avenue, you know that we are old, even though we are not in age. You know, I mean, so please look out for those things and invest. Plug in something. You cannot go wrong with real estate. You probably want to watch another of my YouTube videos where I talked about why and how real estate appreciates. Okay, why and how real estate appreciate, properties appreciate. You see it here. If you watch that with this, you have very great knowledge that will help you in your investment life. Thank you so much. Thank you. It's been my pleasure having you. Thank you, sir. It's been my pleasure. Please patronize her. You know, reach out to her. What's your Instagram handle? Let them follow you. Ridgeway Realtors. At Ridgeway Realtors. Ridgeway, you see it on the screen, okay? At Ridgeway Realtors. Follow her and then patronize her. It's been a nice time having you. Thank you so much for coming. And to you viewers, thank you for staying tuned. You know what? I'll be with you in another episode. But before then, you know what to do. Keep sacking your landlord. Thank you.
This is Total Financial Makeover with Debo Adejana, your financial jailbreaker and escape crusader.